Hey, what's up guys? This is my review of the Riton 4-20 by 50. Now to the guys out there that have never heard of this scope company, it's fairly new to me too. They started a couple of years ago and they're prioritizing strong build, great tracking, and standing behind their customers. If you have a problem with their scopes, you send it in, you don't get anything remanufactured, refurbished. New scope, no questions asked. Now to be fair, if you just abuse the living shit out of it or chopped it up with an axe, that's on you. All right, enough bullshitting around. Let me take this thing to the range. I'll show you everything that'll do. I'll show you everything up close, and then I'll be right back. Now inside the box, what you'll find is a scope with a set of flip-up scope caps and a 3-inch screw-on sunshade. See how easy that is? It didn't take 15 minutes to unbox this damn thing. Let's start with the eyepiece. It turns very smooth. Seriously, you can tell when something has a lot of built-in quality. You play with the eyepiece on this thing, you can feel it, along with the power ring. It goes from 4 to 20, turns equally as smooth. It has the same quality feel that the rest of the scope does. And on the magnification ring, this thing has 2-inch hash marks at 100 yards. They're adjusted for 20 power. You'll see later in the review just how accurate that actually is. Now on the side parallax, it goes all the way down to 10 yards, which is important to a lot of guys, especially high-end air gunners. Me personally being one of them, I like that it goes down to 10 yards. Now the turrets on the scope can be re-zeroed. As you can see here, they're 1/4 MOA. You just back off the screw, pick up the turret, turn it to where you want it, put it down as if you were locking it, screw it back down, and you're back in business. Now when I'm paying upwards of $500, I want the turrets to feel a certain way, to perform a certain way, and these do. The clicks are very, very positive. It tracks incredibly well, as you'll see in the test, and I love the push-pull function of locking them in. Now the turrets here actually line up with the lines, and it has the lines so you can tell how many revolutions you went around on them. All right, she's in the fixture. Let's look down range, and I'll show you what we got going. Now, before we go any further, these targets right here, I'm going to leave a link below. They have grids in MOA and mils, which is really freaking cool, and you can test your scopes on it. I dig the shit out of them. Right here is a couple of quick looks through the scope at 50 yards. It was so hot at the range that day that at 100 yards, there was a lot of mirage. At 50 yards, you get a hell of a lot better idea of what this thing actually looks like to look through it. And by the way, it's pretty freaking impressive. And these bullet holes, that's 22 caliber bullet holes at 50 yards at 8 power. That'll kind of give you an idea of the resolution this scope is capable of. All right, that's enough looking at 50 yards. I'm fixing to roll this camera up. We're going to point it down there at 100 yards, and I'll show you what 91 MOA looks like as far as how much travel. Now, something I wanted to touch on here, the distance between those two green dots is exactly 10 inches. I checked at 1/4 inch per click how many clicks it would take to go 10 inches. It should have taken 40. It took 44. Now it repeated perfectly, but it actually scale was off just a little bit. Is it a deal breaker for me? Hell no, because I would much rather it track a little bit on the fine side than way too much on the coarse side, which a shitload of scopes do. This one did great. Horizontal tracking, vertical tracking, and you'll see the box test, which I did over and over and over every single freaking time. 2 revolutions in each direction, it came back and nailed it. Dead nuts every time. Now I'm also about to do the point of impact shift test with the side focus, which a hell of a lot of scopes at 100 yards. Some of them, even some of the expensive ones, can move left and right as much as 2 to 3 inches. This one didn't do that. It just keeps doing everything over and over and over. Mechanically, that's where the money's at in this scope, and you can tell by the way it functions. Look at this focus impact shift. That has got to be less than 1/4 inch. That's the best of any scope that I've tested at this distance. Now here's one more quick look at the scope. It is a nice looking optic, without a doubt. Now check this out. Even through the mirage, you can see the 2-inch hash marks line up exactly at 100 yards. They scaled this thing out perfectly. I'm really, really impressed. And here's a look at the grid, the way it comes from the factory. You can see what all the hash marks line out to be. I've only tested a lot of scopes. This one finishes right at the top of its freaking class. All right, thanks guys. And when you holler at Riton, let them know that a fat one-eyed boy sent you that way. Take care.